I wanted to make a ghost for our front patio. So what you'll see different things all over YouTube and Pinterest and all kinds of, they're fantastic ideas, by the way. I've seen a video on Facebook and Instagram. I don't want to have to go and buy some things, but they are great ideas if you want to do it. We have a lot of chicken wire around the area for when we do gardening or whatnot. By the way, a lot of people do this where they're artists, they're sculptors, they can do it. I have this wonky shaped thing, but if you can see this right here, this is chicken wire, but you know, in the dark too, it almost looks like a creepy ghost-like silhouette going across your lawn. I think it's so neat. I don't do well with sculpting and forms and whatnot. So what I basically did is stack 2 small ones and then an even smaller one on top to make like, I just kind of balled it up like a head. Right now it just looks like a random shape. If you can catch it on camera here, it looks like a random shape here. And Paul had some spare wood here from pallets that he's basically going to just kind of make almost like a tripod teepee-like design here, where the 3 pieces of wood together, and he's going to screw them together to make a little base. And then we should have a white sheet laying around. We're going to place it on top, and then I'll make little eyes and a mouth for it. Don't mind our neighbor dogs, folks. They're in full form today. But anyway, we are going to just basically put it over the form here, and hopefully it'll make a nice ghost. Under everything on this wire, on this chicken wire, I'm going to maybe put some Christmas lights, white Christmas lights, so at night the ghost will light up. Isn't that cute? So let's see how it turns out. So those boards that I was just telling you about, they're a little bit too tall, so Paul's going to cut about 8 inches off, just so it'll fit the form a lot better. So no one's going to see these, so we're not getting fancy by, oh, what does the wood look like? We're just going to take what was on a pallet and cutting it down. So it's actually about 7 inches. So then this form I started to make, I'm literally just going to put it right over. I can always adjust it. The great thing about wire, and I didn't tie it or up or anything yet. Definitely wear gloves, because it will stab you here. So you want to have gloves on. I'm just stacking wire on top of each other. Kind of close it up a little bit here. And all you're doing is pinching and gathering. It's really the easiest craft. It gave me an idea for a Christmas tree. It's actually starting to look like a Christmas tree. And this, hopefully hold it together with other wire. The thing is, folks, you can string it. I'm just trying to use as least amount of effort and materials as possible, but I may have to. It looks like I might have to wire it together. With string, string it together. But maybe not. Might be able to just put the wire into each other. How I had it before was I was just kind of scrunching up like a head, so that's not really going to work. So what I'm going to do is open it up. Make a head that way and scrunch it. It looks like a snowman.
Nothing wrong with that.
Creepy snowman?
Yes.
No. I don't want it to be a perfect circle because I don't want it to look like a snowman. It's starting to look like that. So I want it to be a little bit wonky because that's what a ghost would be. It's kind of flowing. And I'm not just saying that because I'm messing it up. I'm like, yeah, I meant to do that. I really think this is what I want to do. I'm trying to scrunch it because I want it to kind of lock together. I'm going to see how it goes. I'm going to get some lights to go around it. And then we're going to put a sheet over it. And then when I'm happy with it, I'll paint some eyes and a mouth. We'll see how it turns out. I'm not sure, guys, but I wanted to use what we had. I didn't want to have to run to the store to get stuff. They're all fantastic ideas out there. I love. A lot of people get like a white styrofoam ball, like a good sized ball as the head, throw a white sheet over it, and then under it they do some sort of form. And I'm trying to remember what the form is.
Tomato cage.
And the tomato cage, and that's what
Upside
it is.
down.
But we had it in our hands, and they were about $4. at our Ocean State job lot. I know a lot of people have them. Sometimes people get rid of them on Facebook Marketplace, usually for a cost, but sometimes for free. We've actually, now I could kick myself, we got rid of quite a lot of our tomato cages. Some were great shape, some weren't. We literally just put it at the bottom of the road, gave some to our daughter, and that was the end of it. I wish we had kept it for this kind of thing, but they're hard to store around, and we've done different options for the garden since. But you can do that. You put it upside down, and with the pointy part, you literally stick the styrofoam ball on top, throw a white sheet over it. Again, lights underneath it. There you go. It's definitely a lot easier than this would be, but these are the materials we had on hand. If these are your options, if you have some random pallet wood or any kind of wood laying around, and some chicken wire, Christmas lights, and a white sheet, and a black Sharpie marker or paint, and you've got an instant ghost. There's different ways you can do it. We just wanted to show you a different way you can do it for nothing if you have these materials. Or if you just want to invest in them. They're a great thing to have in the garden anyway. I'm taking some 2 small white light sets. This is where I want the front to be, I guess. I'll leave enough room for it to plug into the outlet. I'm just going to wrap it around where the plug is here, where they attach. I'm just going to kind of stick it in a little bit to hold it, a little more beyond it, just so the lights go all the way around evenly. So it always has a gap where that is. We want that to light all the way up. And I'll just stick it in top. It doesn't have to be fancy, folks. It's just so it lights up underneath. So we had a white sheet for the longest time. We just had between 2 poles and a piece of wood, and then we stapled it all together. We had this makeshift movie screen for our outdoor movie screen, but we had gotten a nice new one a while ago for inside that we can actually bring outside when we want to use it. So we're going to just finally get rid of this, and now I have this white sheet that I can use for my ghost. We're just going to take those staples out. We put the white sheet, draped it over. I have where they come together, where we put it all over the long way, side to side. I'm grouping it so when it comes together, it's a little bit short on this side and a little bit short on the other, but much shorter on the back, so because people don't really see that. So I have this white string that I have all tangled up here that I'm going to try to untangle, but I'm going to place this white string around the form so it blends in with the white sheet. And you definitely want a white string because you don't want it to stand out. You want it to almost fade away in the background. And these, I believe, is when they bundle up your Christmas tree, they give you the string. So we save everything, folks. I'm going to tie it from the back though, so you don't really see. Okay, so I'm going to cut this string. I'm going to tie it once. I'm going to bring it around. Make sure we're in the exact same spot. He's not going to be a realistic ghost. He's going to be like the silly ghost that you see in cartoons and whatnot, or in drawings. Because I'm not an artist, folks. But I am having fun with this. Just try to maybe move that wire a little bit, poof it out a bit if it's not. A little elongated in the front. Alright, so we're going to try to carry him. It's not a perfect form, folks, but it's a cute way to do a little ghost. We're just working with materials we have. It probably would be so much better to just do that styrofoam ball and a tomato cage. If I think of it in time, I'll do it. Maybe I'll even attempt it next year. But right now, this is what we had on hand. And we're all about budget, folks. So we do have it lit up to see how it'll look. You can't really see it because it's late afternoon right now. It's still too light. So in the evening, I will show a quick picture of what it looks like. And let's hope that it turns out okay. But we had fun with it anyway. He's a little thick around the neck, but I would have liked to have tied him a little bit tighter. But when you have a wood frame and you have the wire, which is somewhat forgiving, and then the string that we had, it made it too thick. But we're working with what we have. So now we're going to move it out to the front, and I'm going to paint some eyes and a mouth on it, and I'll show you tonight what it looks like. instead of corn stalks, we always, the past, oh gosh, maybe even 10 years now, we've been doing the grasses, are ornamental grasses, and we cut them down. They do this lovely, like almost like wheat does. It has this feathery top in the fall. Don't mind the traffic, folks. I'm in the front yard. Remember, if you've been following us for a while, you know that we live on a very busy road, so sorry about the traffic. We have these tall grasses, and then these cute little Indian corn looking things. They're actually faux from the Dollar Tree. They sell them in packs of 2. They have a 2-pack of red ones and a 2-pack of the yellowish ones. And basically we took one of each for both of the grasses that we had done, one here in the front. So we just have a little corner here with that. We made that ghost, as you know, and I just painted a face on it. And actually I got a little smudge on one of the eyes. Hopefully you can't notice it too much. But anyway, we have a faux pumpkin that I had for years from the Dollar Tree. They still sell them. They're $1.25, and they're little foam pumpkins. Hopefully they survive the weather out here. And what I did is I took this little cheapy handle that comes with it, that comes on the pumpkin. I had painted it like a light green at one time, but what I did was I took that off and added a twig from one of our trees and added that to it instead, in place of it. And we just have this little corner here. We're not done. We have more to decorate, but here we go. For this little spot, I'm going to add some pumpkins. I'm going to redo the window boxes here, and we're going to have a little finished fall look soon. But this is the beginning of it.
I'm going to do a little cleanup in our secret garden, trim down some of the old foliage, and dig up some of the summer bulbs. Our calla lilies did terribly this year, and I suspect we might have planted the bulbs upside down. I think they go opposite of what normal bulbs do, so let's see what they look like. Well, maybe not. Maybe we just had a bad year. This is our first year with these beautiful, I believe they're canna lilies, and they've done wonderfully, but it's time for them to come down because we're cleaning up and the weather is getting cold. I'd love to be able to use these leaves in some kind of project, but can't imagine what. I think we'll save that flower in the vase. Wow. Enormous. I think I cut one though. And now a little cleanup in our pond area.
Okay, so our camera wasn't working. We thought we had it on, we didn't. So I'm just going to show you, I placed some of the grasses in the back. I cut them down a little bit. We're placing these grasses around. They do stick out quite a bit, but I'm going for kind of a rough, rustic look. I really wanted to use materials we had on hand because I really am trying to cut the expense, but also I really like the natural look of it versus faux leaves. It may end up that I grab some faux leaves just to add to it, but right now I'm going to see how I like it with just that. Again, a little bit messy. Obviously it's, you know, in the way a little bit, people walking by, but not too much. It's in a corner. These pumpkins were from Walmart. Some were $5, some were like $3. I'm just going to stack 2 on top of each other because that's how we felt like it was going to work, because they can fall over easily. So I would normally maybe want to stack a third one, but this is how they are. They only had the orange and the white left. I was really kind of hoping for a teal color, but that's what they had on hand at my Walmart. So we're going with it. I'm not much of an orange color person, but I think I like this, especially with the white and the orange. So we'll get it from the front just so you can see. It's a little wild and crazy, a little messy right now because I have the grasses all over. But just to give you an idea, it's just a very rustic look for the fall on our little porch here. We're going to also use, if Paul could grab that for me, this little bowl, this concrete bowl that we picked up, my son and I picked up while tag sailing at our big townwide tag sale this year. We had it on our big back deck. I'm going to place it on the little table over here, and we're going to add some of our dried hydrangeas to the bowl. Really nice to work with what you have, and this was what we had, and we had gorgeous blooms this year. We do have good blooms pretty much every year from our snowball bushes and our hydrangeas, our endless summer, I believe they are, hydrangeas, and they are just exquisite this year. It was a perfect weather for what we needed, and they are really lasting until now. So what's great about these, if these turn out great when they dry, we'll keep them for the future, especially if we have a not so great year of them. So I'll just show you this again. Have that here. And that's all we're doing in this little table here. I might add a blanket later. We do have some pillows normally. We had some rain the other day, so we just never brought them back up, but I probably will add a couple of pillows and blankets very soon. So in this area we're just adding where we used to have our potted flowers for the summer. I just wanted to put a couple of pumpkins there. I don't want to get crazy with a big group of pumpkins because in time they do rot and I don't want to have to deal with the cleanup right here. So I'm just doing a little bit, and I want it very simple because honestly folks, this is the one part of the garden that just doesn't need much because you have the natural beauty of the pond. Yes, we do have lots of wonderful frogs. They're all hiding. They may be starting to hibernate for the season. Last year we had built a little marsh in this spot. So we had one more orange pumpkin that we wanted to place somewhere. We thought about on the stump. Honestly, I really liked it on the stump, so did Paul, but we know we have quite a few chipmunks and we have possibly a little insect hotel going on in here. So we are, and that's great because they stay right there. However, we're afraid that it'll be rotted in no time. So because of that, we're not going to. We're just going to leave that alone for now until I figure out what to do. A faux pumpkin there would be awesome. So that's what I'm going to be getting my sights on. But we did put it here because I did want to do more pumpkins here, if you remember last week. So I had changed, I had blue pillows before. I wanted to change these to the gray pillows. Paul had cleaned up this little area here. I didn't help him much this week as I'm a little bit under the weather, have a little bit of a bug. So he's been working tirelessly on this whole yard, trying to clean it up. But we just added a little pumpkin right there. So that's the only thing different.
Now we're going to do a little transplanting by the road. These ornamental grasses are really nice by the road, but they actually block the view from the driveway when you're trying to pull out. So we're going to get those out of the way and put in a couple of azaleas that I dug up from one of our old azalea plants. Had some babies come around the edges, so dug them up, and I'll be putting them in these little planting areas. Found a new home for those ornamental grasses up here on our hillside, right along the stairway. I think they're going to look really nice, but it's going to take a little bit of watering because they've had a kind of a drought lately, so I'll have to make sure I keep them nice and watered until they take.
So we have our trusty concrete mix and nylons and twine. What in the world are they making today, you say? Well, we're going to make a concrete pumpkin. So hopefully a couple of them. And we're going to make them for outside. I don't know how well they'll hold up. I would imagine they will. Some people do them and do them inside. This is something I've been wanting to try. I did not invent this at all. Why reinvent the wheel? I just been wanting to try it as I've seen it everywhere. So we're going to give it a shot. Let's see how it goes. So from what I've heard, we're going to cut both the legs off. And they're really stretched out because they're older, but basically the legs are off. You want, from what I hear, you want something strong. I'm hoping these are strong enough. Not exactly. I haven't worn nylons in forever, but I do save them, thankfully, for various projects. There's one leg. So the recommended thing was to have something to kind of hold it open. Someone used like an old yogurt container. You can keep, we keep various containers around. We have a protein powder that we drink from around a lot. We usually save those bins, and we just so happen to have saved 2 recently. So just so it keeps it steady when you're pouring it in. We're going to fold it over the bins. I really hope these turn out because I'm really excited about it. It's just an affordable way. You can do this for a few dollars versus getting concrete pumpkins are very, very, very expensive. So we're going to hope that this works out. And then we're going to twine this. We're going to use the twine to kind of make the little rib sections. But let's start with the concrete first. So this is Paul's specialty.
I wouldn't say specialty, but let's see how it comes out.
Well, I've not done it before. This is your thing, dear, so
Fair
I'm going to leave it to you.
Now, this is probably not the ideal concrete for this project. This is the high strength one that we have on hand, so it has a lot of rocks in it. We'll see how that comes out. I like to put a little water in the bottom first. That way it doesn't get all dried and cakey at the bottom. I don't have much of this left, so we'll see how much it will make. Give it a quick mix first. Well, I hope I didn't add too much water already. I may have overestimated the amount of concrete I had on hand. I'll add this remainder and see if it's enough. Maybe a little bit on the wet side. I'm going to let it set in the bucket for a little while before we attempt to use it.
We always want to make sure that we're a channel that shows you our mistakes and see what you can do to maybe hopefully fix it. So in this case, he overshot a little bit with the water. So what we decided to do is, because we only had a little bit of mix left, basically we wanted to use up this Quikrete. I don't think it was enough to go with water. So we're adding a little sand that we have. We're very lucky. In this kind of particular situation, very lucky that we have sand on our property. So we add a little bit of sand to hope that this helps it.
A bit closer to the consistency we're looking for. Let's hope it does the job and it sets up well in the pumpkin mold.
Okay. So now we're going to pour these into...
Am I just pouring it in or
you
scooping
are.
it?
Yeah. Well, probably, let's start with pouring and then see.
Let's stir this up a little better.
So this is where we come in and tie it. Unfortunately, I think we put way too much water, and I'm not sure the sand thickened it up. We're going to give it a shot, but we're tying it now in a little knot. I'm going to let that sit like that. I'm not sure, guys. We'll see. You generally don't want it too watery. You really want to make it nice and thick, so next time I probably would advise to have enough Quikrete on hand to keep adding more, or maybe not add so much water to start. Definitely a little too watery. I'm not sure they're going to come out, but so with a knot, you want to leave them off to the side. The reason being, from what we heard, is you don't want to put the string over it because it might stick into the concrete and harden and be really hard to remove. So we're going to tie around. I'm going to go wash my hands. Paul's going to start wrapping around, and we're basically going to wrap it around from the bottom over and up, and then tie it, and then just keep doing that with different ties. These could be interesting looking, folks. I don't know. But we're going to leave them to dry. Hopefully they'll turn out all right. But you want it to sink a little bit in the middle because that's where we're going to put the stem. So you do want a little bit of like a divot in there in the center so we can place our stem. It might be interesting because some are a little uneven, but it could be a really cool pumpkin. Who knows? Because how pumpkins are all different shapes and sizes, so some are a little bit wonky, and I kind of like those pumpkins, so hopefully it turns out okay. So once we took the strings off, we have some grooves that could have been maybe a little deeper and some spots that probably shouldn't have been bumped out. So now we know going forward, if we were to do this again, we'd have to have all the lumps, however you want to call it, all these areas be equally the same size. So I just sanded it down a little bit. I probably could have done with a little more curing, but we're happy with the results. I'm probably going to leave it like this, and then I'm going to hot glue some stems on there from a branch, and we have cement pumpkins. But I like, because even though they're a little bit off and wonky, this is kind of what a natural pumpkin would be. It wouldn't be perfect. Although I wouldn't mind having one that's a little more perfect. But this is what we had with extra concrete mix. We had just enough to make a couple of pumpkins, and we wanted to add those. But I will definitely do more of these going forward. I hope you can understand me well. I have a little bit of a sore throat and a cold going on, so I'm hoping you can hear me well enough. But we're going to, and we're outside, so the traffic might be but crazy as usual. But I think what we're going to do is stick a stem on here and then just put them on the patio the way they are. So let us know what you think. One of the things also is these are going to whiten naturally. You probably could paint these once they're totally dry, but I kind of like that it has this natural look to it. And that's kind of the look. The stone look is kind of a thing lately, but you could let them whiten naturally, which they will do in time. Even this year, they should start to whiten a bit. So we need more pumpkins for our window boxes. Last week I started to paint some gourds. I still bought a bunch of these gourds from the Dollar Tree. I had bought a few more, and then I had bought some of these. You know, you've seen these around in your Dollar Tree. If you are a shopper of Dollar Tree, you know these pumpkins well. $1.25, and then of course $1.25 for these gourds each. So I bought quite a few of these. So with these, I'm going to take these out, the core, because we don't want that. So I'm going to end up sticking a stick in there. Take the tag off, and what I'm going to do is paint each and every one of these different colors, but more neutral colors instead of the orange. Maybe some white ones. And we're going to decorate our window boxes with these. So these are the pumpkins. So I removed all the tabs and all the cores. When I'm done painting and they're all dry, like I was doing before, I'm going to cut a little hole in the middle out, and it will show that it's hollow. And what I'm going to do is stick a stem from in our woods to make it more realistic. But we're going to start with painting all of these white, and then from there I'm going to take shape with what exactly colors I'm going to use. Let's get started.
So Gina is feeling very under the weather right now, so normally it would be her doing this part, but this is going to be, you're going to have to put up with me for a little bit. Seems a shame to throw these away while they're still blooming, but frost is any day now. By keeping them, we'll just be prolonging the inevitable, so time to take them out. Little mishap of the camera there, sorry. So unfortunately, I left these little guys out in the rain before I had a chance to put the stems on. So I'm going to try to dry them off a little bit so I can glue those stems on. Now because these guys are so small, we decided to go a little bit oversized on the stems to make them a little more visible. Being extra generous with the hot glue because I'm worried about it not bonding, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, that's the best we can hope for. I don't think it's actually bonded to the concrete. I think it's given enough of a base so they, as long as you don't whack it on the side of the stem, it should stay on there for the season. So we had a lot of fun this week. We had a little yard cleanup, some decorating around. We need another cleanup. I feel looking around, but we're going to wait till the end of November for that. But we did have a lot of fun cleaning up until, of course, sickness hit the household. And we all got hit pretty hard with that. Gina especially, she's still down for the count. She's on the mend, she's healing up, so she's going to be all right. Most of the decor we did was not just for Halloween, but also for fall, so that'll stay up all the way till Thanksgiving. So I think it came out pretty well. From her sick bed, she kind of told me some things, what she wanted done, so I hope I did what she wanted. Hope it came out okay. And please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we can't wait to see you next week.